if you could give her her brother back and it meant that you would not be here, would you do it? And I said, in a heartbeat, I would. Because it's just not fair.
If for some reason I lost all of my memory, what would be the first thing you'd tell me about us?
I would tell you that you used to hate me, and for good reason. But you love me dearly now, and that you're the reason for the change from how you used to feel about me to how you feel about me now.
Can you describe the main thing that made you shift into that other person? What made that change happen?
What made that change happen? I think how much you talked to me about like believing in God. I don't think it resonated with me earlier in my life until I found out how protected by God I was. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh yeah, she's right about this God thing. And I also think, my little brother realizing that I was living a dangerous way of living. Mm-hmm. And then, you have somebody who looks up to you and you're like, oh, I gotta be around for this dude. Mm-hmm. What are your 3 favorite memories we share?
Well, the first thing that pops into my mind is when you told me when you were about 12, that you were so hungry that your pancreas just ate your liver. And it was so sophisticated, a simile, a metaphor, and so funny that it just has stayed with me forever. Mm. And your funniness reminds me of my brother Darrell, who was killed by police. He was so funny. He was like that. He would come up with stuff, and that you inherited that means so much to me. I think about, and it's not a particular moment at your premiere of your movie. Hollywood can be a very closed system, especially to people from marginalized groups, especially from people whose messages are not considered exciting or current or whatever. And so for you to have written and put together and starred in your own movie, and for it to be beautiful, and for it to honor women, and for it to be all the things that it was just an out of body sort of thing. And so I'm standing in, just being blown away by the accomplishment of it, and it's miraculous. I remember at the time, and I remember when you told me that you were going to change your life, and how I was writing my book and interviewing you. I interviewed everybody in the family. And I remember you telling me that when you were at college, that you had sold drugs and had hung out in ways that were devastating to me, because my brother was killed and he wasn't doing anything wrong. And so, he had just was disoriented and wanted some help from somebody. And and that you, his namesake, had put yourself deliberately into danger. And so that if somebody hurt you, they'd have an excuse. It was so hard for me to process and to understand. And when I got the, I can't even, it was so overwhelming. I don't even remember. I know the room where we were in when you told me that it was over and that you had changed and you were different and you would be different. I don't remember not believing you. So that. What is one thing you've been hesitant to share with me and why?
We're so open with each other, so there's not much. I think one thing that I think it was one thing that I think we maybe have touched on it briefly, but something that I have always been a little hesitant to talk about until probably recently was the weight that I feel carrying Uncle Darrell's name. Mm-hmm. Because I think that there's this idea of everybody else has a fresh start, and I am blessed with this name, but it's not like a name of it's not the name of somebody who grew old, you know, who passed away in their sleep, you know, or it was somebody who was tragically taken. So there's this tremendous responsibility that I feel carrying the name. And also, like, my brothers will be the first them that you loved, you know? But I'll never be the first Darrell that you loved. I mean, he sounds like the most incredible person in the world, you know? And so imagine being like, whew, that's a lot. And it's why I work so hard. It's why I give so much, because I'm like, man, I don't just do it for me, you know? Like, I carry a name.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I carry, yeah.
That you became an actor, that you got his humor, that you've become who you've become to me. You know, it's one of my life's greatest gifts. And when you talk about you not being the first Darrell that I've loved, you're not him. It's like you're such different, such separate people that I don't even think about you having the name because you are so who you are. Mm-hmm. And so ensconced in my heart in that way. And he is who he is and will be forever in my heart. And so you have helped to keep him alive for me. And you know, it's a pure blessing.
What's been the greatest challenge of being my mother that I may not realize?
You know, you have such a strong sense of self, a strong personality, and my fear that you would not balance that by allowing the softness in you to emerge. Just, you know, we live in a world in which Black men need their strength and are challenged and are actually encouraged by the culture in ways that wasn't true when I was young, to be a badass, to be cruel, to be unappreciative of women, to be sexist. So not wanting to tamp you down in ways that disempowered you, but also wanting you to be kinder and to be more gentle and to be more loving and to allow the softness and the beauty and the empathy and the, the fullness of you. That's so hard in a world in which brothers are so challenged. I once thought about writing a column where I would stand announcing I would be on a street corner in Detroit, and any brother who needed a hug can come and get one because of how tough it is to be a brother. And wanting to raise strong Black men, it's one of those phrases I've come to hate, because strong Black man, strong Black woman, when it's our softness and our humanity and our our spirit, uncrushable spirit is what needs unleashing. And so trying to raise boys, Black boys, well, in a world that so often made that difficult. What's the pain in me you wish you could heal, and why?
Oh, the pain that I wish I could heal is the loss of Uncle Darrell. Mm-hmm. It's changed your life in a way that I'm sure that you'll never fully be able to realize. And I just would be so curious as to who you'd be if he was still here, And I think somebody recently asked me, like, if you could give her brother back and it meant that you would not be here, would you do it? And I said, in a heartbeat, I would. Because it's just not fair.
He's not supposed to be here, and you are. And you're doing a good job of being here. And yeah, but I appreciate the thought.
What is one experience you wish I never had, and why?
I spiritually believe that the things that come to us happen for us and not to us. Mm-hmm. And so I think about Darrell's death and how could that possibly have been for me? And so it became, what do I do with that death? And your success, your brother's success, my husband's huge success as a journalist and as a good man. So much of that was forged in pain and so much beauty comes out of the ugliness of life. And so I don't know what I would take away from your experience, because I love what's emerged.
That's good.
What does my love feel like? Ooh, good question.
Your love feels like the closest you can get to God. It feels like a spiritual hug. It feels, I think your love feels like a reason to never stop going, to always believe, and to always believe in something bigger than you. Your love feels like God.
That's where it comes from. Mm-hmm.
If this were to be our last conversation ever, what would you never want me to forget?
How unspeakably proud I am of you, not just for She Taught Love, not just for being an example of a strong, loving person, but just how much you've enriched, your growing, the ways that you have proves my belief in miracles. I believe in miracles. I believe in God. I believe in the vastness of the amazingness of this world and this universe. And you have proven my belief. The stuff that's happening politically, the stuff that's happening around us suggests a shutting down and a shrinking, but it's all about growth and expansion. And I think that's happening. And I see that happening in you, and just the biggest possible expression of yourself and God. Because it's all combined.
Love you.
Love you too.
If you enjoyed that conversation in the end, visit theskindeep.com/shop, where you'll find more of our products to create the space to explore the relationships that are most important to you.